Hello, welcome to Kolkata Business Analytics Group. In this video, we are going to discuss about unpivoting columns. So we need to sometime flatten the data because the data that is available in raw files are scattered across, in a very unstructured manner. So sometimes we need the similar values in a single columns and the values for those columns in an attribute column. So let me show you what is basically unpivoting column. So here you can see in this example, we have these attributes in the green color and values shown in the blue color denoted as A1, A2, A3 and V1, V2 respectively. So after unpivoting or applying unpivoting action on this set of data, it would be converted to something like this, where we would be having similar values under a single columns and the values of those similar values, I mean v1 v2 v3, under another column that is called as values. So let's go back to our Power BI data set. So here we have a similar set of data where it needs to be unpivoted. So you can see that this data is related to population, and here we have the first column as country name, country code, then indicator name, indicator code, and all the remaining columns are for years. And for all of these columns in the cell values, we have the population count. So we would like to convert this data into two columns, where we would have one column as year under which all these values would be appearing, and we would have another column named as population under which all of these values in the cells would be appearing. So let's go ahead and perform this action. So in order to do this, we need to open Power Query Editor. So we would click on transform data and select transform data here. It is opening up a new window for Power Query Editor where our data would be loaded again. So in order to do the unpivoting, we need to select all the columns on which we want to perform the unpivoting action. So I have selected this column by clicking on it. Now I will press shift button and right arrow to select the other subsequent columns, and I'll keep pressing it until all the columns are selected. So there are like several ways to select all of these columns at once. You can also press Control key and click on the columns. That is another way to select all the columns. Now I will right click on it and I'll select the option unpivot column. So here you can see there are other options as well, like unpivot other columns and unpivot only selected columns. So unpivot columns and unpivot only selected columns are basically same. So this is the only different option here, that is unpivot other columns. So it will unpivot all the columns that is not selected. So we are going with the first option, unpivot columns, and it will do the magic and will return two columns named as attribute and value by default. And you can see that all the values that those were in the column header, I mean as column name, is now appearing under this column, and all the values are now coming as in under value column. So now let's go and double click on this column and name it as year. Let's rename it by double clicking on this column name. It would be editable now, and call it population. So now we are done with this. Now let's press Ctrl S to save this action. You'd be asked to apply, so click on apply. It will save all the changes applied on this data set, and our data would be ready in few seconds. So it is asking to save this file. I'm saying sample report. So here now we have the data ready for use. So now we will close the Power Query editor. And you can see now the data is flattened now and is in proper format for use. So I hope this video was useful for you. Thank you.